Okay, guys, good morning and welcome to our Candid Crew Chat. This morning we're going to chat about 5 ways to stay motivated. And this is just for life in general, for your business, for your journey, for anything in life, because let's face it, we need motivation to keep going on a daily basis. There's days that I just want to crawl under a rock and just stay there until the sun comes up the next day. So we always need to keep that motivation and find ways to keep the motivation. And I came across these 5 ways, and I want to say I learned this at Summit, but I could be wrong, but I don't know. I had it typed up in my Google Docs from somewhere. And I must have learned it there. It must have been like that Miguel Caruso. What was the name of that thing that we did? The Ignite event or something. I think maybe that's where I got it from one of the speakers there. I don't remember. I had a bunch of notes from my Google Docs from that. So I think that's where I got a lot of this information from. And I kept it in there because I wanted to make sure that I was able to share with you ladies and the team on these 5 ways to stay motivated. Because when I go to events like this, if I write it in my Google Docs, then it definitely hit home to me. So I like to share it and pay it forward. But this upcoming year and Summit, most of you will be there and you could take your own notes. But I'll still take notes to share with the ones that aren't going to go to Indianapolis with us. Okay, so 5 ways to stay motivated. The first one is raising your ambitions. In other words, refusing to settle. You can't, let me put my phone on vibrate because we're just going to hear notifications the whole time. In life, when we get to that point that we settle, what happens is we have feelings of resentment. We have feelings of unhappiness. We have feelings of just being angry and bitter. And all of those feelings come from the fact because we know that we settled and we know that we want more and we're not going for the more. So to keep yourself motivated, you can't get to that part where you're completely settling. Because once you get there, it's almost like you stop, like you're driving your car and then all of a sudden a brick wall comes in front of you and that's it. You're not going anywhere else. You're just going to be stuck there. So you've got to make sure that you are not settling. When it comes to the point where you feel like you're settling, you're getting some of those angry feelings and angry emotions and bitterness and things like that. When you feel all of that coming on, that is when you need to kind of take a moment, look at it all, view it all, and figure out how you're going to take a step over that obstacle that you've come to. Don't settle and stay in that settled point. Keep moving yourself forward, because constantly staying moving and constantly pushing yourself is going to keep you motivated. Of course, having an amazing why that really digs deep and pulls on your heartstrings is what's going to keep you motivated on the days that you don't want to be motivated, on the days that you don't want to do anything. At least that is for me. I've been, really trying to branch out and explain to people that I'm not really a full-time health, fitness, and wellness coach. I'm a full-time mom and a part-time girl boss because I don't work my business full-time. I don't put 40 hours a week into my business. But I push myself on days that I don't really want to do it. Same thing with my workouts. I've been sick all week and I don't feel like achy or anything like that, but my stomach hasn't been settled. My stomach hasn't been good, but I've just pushed myself to do it because I know if I don't, I'm going to feel like I settled and I'm going to get pissed off and I'm going to get aggravated. So you have to push through some of those feelings, even if you have to lean on other people to help you push through and remind you why you're doing it so you don't get into that settled spot. Number 2, you must live each day with intent. And this is something that I didn't really grasp the concept at first when people were saying when I would hear other people on team calls or they would post in the team pages of FitFam and stuff like that, that they did their work, but they didn't do it intentionally. And I'm like, I don't really understand what they're meaning. You either do it or you don't do it. And then I really kind of thought about it more. And then there were some days that I was not being intentional about work. I was just crossing and putting check marks on the boxes just to get it done so I can feel like I got my stuff done. But there was no intent behind it. I wasn't being intentional about my invites. I wasn't being intentional about my, hey girl, how are you messages or anything like that. I was just throwing them out there because I wanted all my bubbles in my Teamsy to be full. I wanted all my stuff done. So then I understood what they meant by intentionally doing their work and non-intentionally doing their work. And in order to stay motivated, even just in life in general, not just taking the business out of it, just in life in general, you need to do things intentionally. You know, like now I have passion and intent behind these invites, and people that I've invited before that I know when I invited there was no intent behind it. Now when I invite them, they're like, oh yeah, give me more information. And I'm like, I've been asking you for like a year to join me. What's so different now? And then that's what made me realize, take a step back and kind of like look at it all. And that's what made me realize that's what was the difference was me. Even though it's through a screen, it's so different when you put it out there intentionally in the universe, what really comes back to you. When you're just putting it out there to put it out there to say, yep, I did it, or so you can send me like your weekly paper saying, yep, I did all my work. Yeah, but did you do it with intent, or did you just do it to cross off your to-do list? So then that way you can just tell me you did it. There is totally a difference between that. And it is such a difference in life in general as well. If you do things intentionally, like if you're intentionally trying to build a strong relationship with your spouse, or if you're just sending them a text message just to send it, so you can be like, yeah, I sent them like a hey halfway through the day, but you know, I don't care if they respond or not. Then there's no intent behind it. You're just doing it to say, yep, I did it. I'm trying in my marriage. Or if you intentionally want to tell that person, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Just want to tell you I love you. I hope you're not having a bad day. Same thing with friendships. Are you intentionally, when you reach out to your friends, really caring about them? Or are you just reaching out to them because you feel obligated to every once in a while reach out to them and see how they're doing? Totally different relationships when you're intentional about your actions and when you're not. So it's extremely important to do things in life, in business, for yourself with intent. You know, if you're not intentionally self-loving yourself and you're just faking it till you make it, it's going to take a long time to get there. The fake it till you make it works sometimes, but not with everything, especially self-love. So make sure you're intentionally self-loving yourself and intentionally doing things to make yourself happy and overflow that happy cup and that love cup of yours. Number 3, this is a big one. Must no longer fear rejection. Who on here, by a show of hands, fears rejection? Is afraid to hear no? Is afraid to invite because you think they're automatically going to be like, nope, I don't want any part of that. You have to get over that fear. And I can tell you, I had that fear. I had that fear for a long time. But there is a book that I read called Go for No that you guys should read or listen to. It's not very long. Alex and I actually listened to it, not last year's Summit, but the year before, because we drove to Summit. We listened to some of it on the ride home. And it actually helped him in his business too, because he's in sales. So he hears no all day long, just as I do. So it really helped us with the fear of rejection, because now it's almost like we push for those no's because we know after like the 10th no, we're going to get that yes. So I strive for as many no's as I can get, because I know after a while, one of those no's will be yes. Or a no that I had a year ago will now turn into a yes, because they've seen that I have stayed consistent, not only with my journey, but with inviting them to start this journey too. I've never given up on them, which means when they start the journey, I'm going to be consistent and I'm never going to give up on them. We have to prove ourselves. And I've heard through so many different personal development books that I've read and so many different trainings that I've gone to, that it takes somebody to actually jump on board with something after the 7th to 10th time they're invited. Except if it's going out for a glass of wine. That's usually the first invite. They're like, yep, I'll be there. But usually when somebody's invited to do something, it's between the 7th and the 10th time they're invited to start a new journey or to do something new. It takes them that long to finally say yes. So from now on, I'll share a tip with you on how I view no's. I view no's like a waitress would view a no. If a waitress asks somebody, would you like a glass of water? And the person says, no, thank you. Does that waitress stomp her feet and have a temper tantrum leaving the table? Nope. You know why? Because when she goes back to the table at some point later, while those people are sitting there, guarantee that person says, can I have a glass of water, please? And that no turns into a yes. They just weren't ready at the time that they were asked, but they eventually want that glass of water. It's the same thing with our business. They're not ready at the time that we ask, because sometimes I think these people think that once they sign up with us, they have to go all in 100%. They have to change their whole life and get started. That's why I don't know if you guys have noticed the way that I've shared my groups a little bit more, but I'm explaining to them that everybody's at their own pace. Some people ramp up, some people jump all in, some people start only working out 1 day a week, some people will do 3 days a week, some people will do 7 days a week, because I'm trying to get them to understand that everyone's on their own journey. We're just in the group together to help each other. That doesn't mean everybody has to follow the container life 100% right away. How about you don't even do the container life right away, and you start with drinking your shake every day as a first change, and cutting your carbs in half, and working out 3 days a week. So a lot of people, I think, get scared because they think once they join, they have to go balls to the wall, and they're afraid to do that. So, you know, I know that's why we get a lot of no's, but we have to look at those no's as not right now. So when you see the word no in your messenger or on text message or anything like that, and someone tells you no, I want you to change that word in your brain to just say, not right now. And when somebody tells me no, I always say, okay, no problem. Is it okay if I keep you up to date on my future groups? Because I run these every month, and then maybe one of the other times you'll be ready. I very rarely, maybe 1%, get somebody say, no, thank you. I don't want to know about any future groups. 99.9% of the time, I get, that would be fantastic if you can keep me up to date each month on what group you have going, and maybe I'll be ready one of those months. So that just proves to me it's a not right now, because they're saying, yes, keep me posted. I'm interested, just not ready yet. So that means it'll probably be 6 months before they're ready, because that was my first invite, and they need 6 more to hit to that number 7. So, you have to keep that in mind. So when you see the no, ask, is it okay if I keep you updated? So that way you can reassure yourself that it's just a not right now. It's not really a straight up no, don't ever message me again, I even have some people that'll message me and say, no thanks, I'm happy with what I'm doing, it works for me. So then I ask for referrals. That's great. What are you doing? I would love to hear what you're doing. I love to know what other people are doing in this journey. And then they tell me, and then we have a little bit of a convo, but I always end the convo with, well, if you don't mind me asking, do you have any friends or family that might need guidance on this journey that maybe I can reach out to and chat with them? Seeing that you already got this journey down pat, but maybe you know somebody that needs a little guidance, and ask for a referral. Don't end it with a no, not asking for something. So you're either asking for a referral, or you're asking to let them know about your future groups. Okay, number 4, you must jump in and face your fears. Because when you hit the fear, that's the edge of your growth. What do we always say? Success comes from failure. I have failed so many times in this business already, it's not even funny. But it's funny, my mind works kind of different than other people when it comes to my mind with the business. I look for the no's. I also look for the failure, because I know the more I fail, the more successful I'm going to be. And then the more I fail, the more I could show you guys the right path, so you don't have to fail as much as I failed. It's just like a mother with their kids. I have failed in relationships. I have failed in friendships. I have failed with my actions. So when my daughter comes to me for advice, or my son comes to me for advice, I feel like I can give them great advice so they don't have to fail as much as I did. And I could speak from experience to them and help them. So I feel like all those failures in life and relationships have made me a better mom for advice, because I can help them. So with failure comes success. So with the failure of all of that, I have become more of a successful mom with giving them advice and things that they can do in life, and so forth. So I look for those failures. I failed in the way that I promoted our UK launch. I failed in the way that I promoted some other launches that came about. I could have promoted them a lot better, where I could have gotten more traction in my business. But you know what? I learned, and I've already implemented that change with the 80-day obsession launch. I've already changed the way that I am letting people know and leading up to the launch of a program because I learned. You know, I didn't do well with the other launch of Double Time. I didn't do well with the launch before that. You know, I could have done better. So I learned from that and I implemented. So you cannot hold yourself back from fear, because here's your fear. And once you get up to it, if you stop, guess what? You're at number one. You're settling, and you need to refuse to settle. You have to jump over that wall and go a little bit past that fear. So that way you can find success, because success is behind your fear. It's behind your fear. If I stuck to my fear of getting in an airplane, I would never make it to any of these summit events or any of these winter summit events or anything like that. Like when we went to Vegas last year for that, it was a non-Beachbody event, but it was a Tony Robbins event. I wouldn't have gone to any of those things to have personal growth. I wouldn't have gone to any of those things to be able to bond with the team, because I was letting fear hold me back. You know, some of the plane flights took me going to the bar for a little while to conquer the fear, but whatever makes you conquer that fear, you just have to move past that wall of fear, because on the other side is where success is born. On the other side is where your growth is. So I would have never grown as a person, grown as a coach, or anything like that if I would have let fear hold me back. So you can't let it hold you back. And I know how scary it is to do that. I've let fear hold me back with some things in the business. And then finally, I got to kind of like smack myself out of it and be like, no more. Just go. What's the worst that's going to happen? You fail? Well, guess what? Now that means you're starting to become successful because you're failing. And sometimes you need that. You need to coach yourself in the business and coach yourself through your fears and your failures. Fifth and last one, you've got to have something to fight for in order to stay motivated. If you have nothing to fight for, you're not going to push yourself hard. Right now, I'm fighting to prove my self-doubt wrong. That's what I'm fighting for. I'm trying to prove myself wrong. But what you're fighting for is always going to change. So right now, I want to prove myself wrong with some things that I have going on in my own head. Once I prove myself wrong, then I'm fighting for my future. I don't have a retirement. I have no money in the bank for when I'm an old fart sitting on a porch with gray hair in my rocking chair talking about everything I did in life. I don't want to sit on that porch with regrets, and I want to have money so I can do things. You know, I'm moving to Tennessee in like 5 years. I want to be able to just do Beachbody and real estate with Alex, and that's all we do, to where if we decide we want to go on a trip, I could still work and we can just go do whatever we want. If we want to get an RV and travel the world, I can travel the world and I can still work. That's what I'm fighting for. That's what I want. That's part of my why. That's what pushes me and keeps me motivated. Christina told me the other day that she looks at me like a well-oiled machine. She's like, you're just like a well-oiled machine. You just do it. But I just do it because I feel like you just have to take action. In order to stay motivated, you have to have something to fight for, so it pushes you to take action whether you want to take action or not. So you just have to push through. It's the only way that I can explain to you guys. For motivation, I'm going to go through all 5 one last time. You have to raise your ambitions and refuse to settle. You have to live each day with intent. Live each day, not even about the business, just live each day with intent. You must no longer fear rejection. You need to be okay with people telling you no. You have to be okay with that. You can't fear it, or you're going to be stuck right where you are. You have to jump in and face those fears, because your fears are the edge of your growth, and you must have something to fight for. You have to have something to fight for. The last one is a very important one, because if you're not fighting for anything, you're not going to push yourself. And if you're not going to find that motivation, and having something to fight for is your why. That's your why. So it's a really, really, really big one. I want to quickly open it up if anybody has any questions. And then I had told Michelle that I was going to show her and Samantha how to get the order done, because they had some issues yesterday. Did anybody have any questions or anything that they wanted to add to the 5 ways of staying motivated? Okay, let me look in the chat really quick. Oh, that's Natalie and
Hey.
Sarah. Yes.
Sorry, Owen's playing video games. I just wanted to say that, it's the things that you said, are not only business things, it's everything. And I think that when you adopt these philosophies as a lifestyle, they just come more naturally as part of your business. So I have been like doing a really deep dive into personal development. I apologize that you guys are going to hear like Minnie Mouse, but um you know in the personal development, it's all about getting to that failure, and then, like you said, stepping over the line. And if you use that just as life, you
Mm-hmm.
know it comes so much more naturally. Like, a couple of people on the phone right now know that I'm going through some stuff with Owen. Like, I don't know, like, I've all and in the past couple weeks I've been doing a lot of manifestation work and a lot of like law of attraction work kind of thing. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that for some reason, like, I don't know, God, hold on, baby, like God or the universe had told me to do this right now,
Because they
because
knew
if
what you
I
were going to go
wasn't
through.
dealing with what I'm dealing with right now before all of this personal development, I would have just fallen apart, like personally, professionally. I would have like called Tanya and been like, I'm not doing this, at least not right now. I'm not doing this. Like, I'm just, this is 100% focus on the problem, but it's not going to do anything, because that's accepting the quote unquote, I guess, like failure part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you have to, you can read these slides and you can take notes on these bullet points, but you have to adopt this. You really have to do a lot of personal development to understand it. So, that's what I suggest that you guys do if you're not already doing it.
Yep. I agree totally. When I was going through the miscarriages and stuff, I normally would have turned to drinking or something like that to make me feel better.
Okay, tell me
I
what's the
turned to
matter.
my books. I turned to my books because they help.
Sorry.
So it's very, very important. And if you're going through something and you just don't know what book would help you, reach out to me. Michelle just asked for a book recommendation. Michelle, unmute real quick and tell me what you feel you need the book for, because there's so many books. I ordered Shanti's book also. There's so many books for so many different things. So are you having issues with self-doubt, or are you having issues with like yourself personally on a different level, or what do you feel you need the book for?
I'm not really sure. I guess just starting out a business, and I don't really know. I guess I'm just looking for anything.
Okay, a good one for starting out the business is GoPro.
Okay.
Another good one to do for you, because I know that rejection is something that is one of your fears, would be Go for No. And you can listen to that one and have it listened to in like an hour or a 2-hour time frame. So you can just listen to it in little pockets, like when you're cleaning the house or whatever. It's a really, really good book. So I would recommend one of those two. My favorite one that I go to for in my challenge groups, which I wanted to post, I'm going to post at some point today in the Get Obsessed with Yourself group that I'm doing, is You Are a Badass. Because I feel like that book will help people with their mindset on this journey to where they're going to be more successful. That's one of my favorite books. That book made me feel like, hell yeah, I'm a badass, like it made me feel good about myself. And I think that's where a lot of people have to start first, is feeling good about themselves and having that self-love and self-confidence. So that's a good book for that type of thing. But Go for No is great for someone that fears rejection. So that will help them start inviting a little bit more. And GoPro is like one of the first books that I send to my coaches when they sign up for them to read, that really helps them understand network marketing and best ways to do things and best practices and things like that for network marketing. So I think that would be a good book for you as well. And then of course the Shanti one when it comes in. I think that one's going to be good all around for life, business, working on ourselves. I think it's going to be an all around like good book for everything. But yeah, like I said before I started the call, these are 5 things for motivation, and it wasn't just business oriented, but I just felt like this is something that I had to like chat about with you guys, because it's really important to stay motivated in life in general, because there's so many times, sometimes, I don't know if any other moms feel like this or any other ladies feel like this, but sometimes I just want to pack up my bags and leave for a couple days and leave my phone at home so I could just go be with myself and just kind of like, you know, nobody, mom, or nobody expecting me to do this or expecting me to do that and constantly pulling me in a million directions. So we have to stay motivated as parents. We have to stay motivated as women. We have to, you know, it's just life in general. Sometimes you just want to crawl under a rock and not come out. So it's very important to keep these 5 things close at hand. And I will post, I'll put like some sort of like a picture together with these 5 things. So if any of you guys want to save it as a wallpaper on your phone so you constantly are reading it. So I'll put something cute together for it. So, and I'll post it in the team page, because I'll probably make it my wallpaper on my iPad, because that's what I do most of my work on. Just to always read every day before I start, read those 5 ways to stay motivated. Because if you read those can be like your affirmations. I must raise my ambition. I must live each day with intent. I must no longer fear rejection. I must jump in and face my fears. I must have something to fight for. If you make those your you know, ways to start your day every morning, and you read those to yourself when you're brushing your teeth, write it on your mirror with a dry erase marker, or print it on a piece of paper and stick it to your bathroom mirror. So when you're getting ready, you see those 5 ways to stay motivated for that day. And that could be your affirmations to start your day. Then, you know, I don't think you'll have any problem staying motivated each day. Things are going to happen, but you're going to find a way to get over the obstacle a little bit better if you make those your affirmations. Did anybody else have any other questions? All right, let me stop recording.